to the Power to the Pinky podcast with Taylor Marbury. This is episode 21 and I'm really excited because we're going to talk about one of my favorite topics ever, which is fingerpicking. Welcome to the introduction to fingerpicking and the PIMA method, okay? This is going to be really fun. So I want to kind of start us off with an anecdotal thing. When I first started learning guitar, when I was 11 or 12, I did not realize you could use more than two fingers to finger pick. One of the first songs, there was a couple I wanted to learn, Stairway to Heaven and Blackbird. In fact, my mom was like, hey, can you learn Blackbird by the Beatles? Because I asked her what songs you want to learn on guitar. And I remember trying to play it with my thumb and my index finger like this. Obviously, it would sound more something along the lines of... It even feels weird to do that. I mean, I can get it to work, right? It is technically possible. Is it the most efficient? No. And I always say musicians are lazy, efficient, right? We want to do the least amount of work possible, but get all the notes that we need. So it wasn't till about 2 or 3 years into playing guitar that I took classical guitar, which was offered by my high school. And there we learned the PIMA method, and my eyes, my mind was blown. My brain was stunned. My eyes grew big. I could not believe it. I was like, oh, okay, so there is a hack for this. I'm just an idiot. Awesome. All right. And when I learned this, it took me about 3 weeks to a month to break the habit of just using these two fingers, my thumb and my index. But once I got the hang of it, I did, and I still do think it's one of the coolest things ever, especially if you're into playing chord melodies on the guitar, you just like all the famous fingerstyle songs, or if you want to get into hybrid picking, it's a really good way to kind of work our way down that path. All right. So again, today is just going to kind of be an overview of what we're talking about. Going to talk about some hand position basics. And basically, we're just going to kind of walk through how to do this simply with an E minor chord just to kind of get you guys started with this. There will be about 9 more episodes I'm going to do. Honestly, I might even do more than that as we kind of go through this process and with some exercises to do. So this is all about practicing finger picking and fingerstyle and getting comfortable with the PIMA method. All right, let's go ahead and kick it off. So the first thing that we're going to talk about today is what I keep saying, which is the PIMA method. And if you're watching the video, you can see my pinky is down. Poor little pinky. I've seen some people even use their pinky when they're doing fingerstyle. I mean, I've never been a fan. I know a lot of flamenco guitarists will grow this nail really long and they do stuff with that. I am nowhere near a flamenco guitarist, although I wish I could play like that. I've seen that before. So that's where the pinky would come in handy. So thankfully, we only need our thumb, our index, our middle, and our ring. And it's called the PIMA method. Again, P is your thumb, I is your index, M is your middle, and A is your ring finger. Now, the translations for these are just kind of fun. I'm probably going to say these wrong, so bear with me. Is the P is the pulgar. It's Spanish. So P for pulgar, thumb. Index is índice. I'm probably saying that wrong. The M is medio. Makes sense. Probably, again, butchering the enunciation of that. And then the ring finger is anular. ANULAR. All right. So that's our PIMA, but we're just going to call it PIMA. You don't need to know the other stuff. That's just kind of fun facts for you guys. All right. So the first thing you're going to want to do is we're going to grab our guitar. That might be helpful. We could air guitar this too. You know what I mean? Sometimes I would practice it kind of in the air. I'm kind of only halfway being silly right now. All right. So I want you guys to grab your guitar and don't even worry about the left hand. Let's just talk right hand. I'll make sure you guys can see my hand here. Okay. So first things first, and again, it's been a while since I've played hardcore classical guitar, so bear with me. I've kind of tweaked this to my liking of the style I play, which is kind of everything. But this is kind of your go-to position. Now, it's kind of hard to see on here, but what I'm doing, and I'm way over here, I would actually pull it back a little bit. So the rule of thumb, one bad pun, that's all we're allowed. One bad pun. Okay, the rule of thumb is that your thumb is going to basically take care of the low E, the A, and the D string. Okay? Now, when you're doing this, watch how my thumb kind of almost bumps into my group of fingers, as I like to call these three, because they kind of go together. Okay? So the thumb is going to run into that. Let's hit the low E first. Okay? So I'm kind of just on the side there. I'm just gently going to where it's going to hit my fingers. Now let's do the A string. Okay, now I'm hitting my A. Again, it's kind of bumping into my fingers. My thumb is extended past my group of fingers. That's really important. We're going to do more episodes on this. So again, this is your overview episode. Okay. And then again, now I'm going to hit the D string with my thumb there. Okay. Now you don't want the thumb tucked back in here, as you guys can see, basically behind your fingers. That's a no-no. You don't want it too far. In fact, I might even be a little too far. You just want it nice and comfortable and relaxed. Okay. So the thumb is going to take care of your bass string, as we call them. Okay. So that's going to be, again, my E, my A, and my D strings. On average, there are exceptions to this rule, but that's your overall rule of thumb. We're just going to let that pun sit for a little bit. All right, so that's what the P takes care of. The I, M, A, okay? So our fingers are naturally going to start resting. This is your new resting position when you guys are playing finger style or finger picking, okay? We're going to go and put our index on the G there. My middle is going to go after it on the B there. And my ring is going to hit baby E, okay? So again, I kind of got this I, M, A. And again, that's on the G, the B, and then the baby E string there. So the first thing you're going to want to do just to get you in the zone on this, again, no left hand still. We're going to change that here in a minute. But your first goal is to quite literally just sit there and go thumb, and then maybe even try going index, middle, ring. Now, your goal and your mission is you do not, when I first started doing this, I would literally kind of pull all the way off of the guitar like this, where my hand is kind of, going off. Your goal is to keep that hand in one spot and let the fingers do the work for you, because they will. So again, you have your thumb, and let's just see if we can go thumb, index on G, thumb on low E, index on G, just back and forth. Just start with that. So your goal is, again, keep that hand in one position and let that finger go through the string for you, okay? So thumb, index, middle, ring, or P, I, M, A, P, I, M, A. Here's the cool thing about this too. You can practice this if you want. I used to watch TV or throw on a movie, and I would just sit there and I would just kind of let my fingers go crazy and just let them literally just start to practice this technique where I don't have to think about it, where I can talk and literally do this at the same time, okay? So your first thing you want to practice is literally just go P, I, M, A. Now, if you want to be crazy, you can change which bass note your thumb is hitting. So for example, I was hitting the low E there. Here's my A string, A, and then D. So again, I still get P, I, M, A string, P, I, M, A, D string, P, I, M, A. All right. So again, that was no left hand. That's all open strings. We're just trying to accommodate that our thumb is going to be a little bit past our fingers, but not too far. And then our other three fingers are kind of curved. Okay. We will go more into the technique of this. And if you're if you want to be a hardcore classical guitarist, this is something that is so vital. And it's also important. Most classical guitarists have their nails grown out. Mine tend to chip away from playing so much. I usually play with a pick a lot. And with the way I play, for some reason, my nails chip away. But I used to have really long classical guitar nails, and I miss them. And we would use really fine sandpaper to basically make the nails look good and sound good, like picks. Okay, so the way we're going to finish this up just for today, just to kind of get us in the realm of the finger-picking PIMA land, is we're going to go ahead and grab an E minor chord. Now, I realize most of you listening probably already know what that is, but in case you don't, take your index, let's go A string second fret. Take your middle, let's go D string second fret. Or you can use your middle and your ring to grab those two. Okay, that's my E minor chord containing the notes E, G, and B, all right? Minor meaning sad. So I'm just going to hold that down, and I'm going to do, again, what we were doing before. And this is just to kind of give it some pizzazz and a little more interesting when you're practicing it. It's going to sound like this. Sorry, I was trying to move my hands so you guys could see my right hand. Here we go. So all I'm doing is I'm doing the same exercise we did a minute ago, where I went P, I, M, A, switch strings, P, I, M, A, switch strings, P, I, M, A. But now I've got that E in there. And that'll just sound awesome. I mean, honestly, if you're like, oh, I want something cool to impress my friends and confuse my enemies, you can literally play that. Let's go through that again. A, D string, A string, E, So your goal is to really leave your hand in one spot, right? Let those fingers do the work for you. Be lazy, efficient, and really just sit there and just try to get used to that feeling, especially if you've never done this before. You're really going to want to take your time and sit with it and make sure that that makes sense, okay? PIMA, Intro to Finger Picking and Fingerstyle. And again, if you're going to be a classical guitarist, this is the way. I've even had friends that played really well and they just used even just their thumb, their index, and their middle when they were finger picking. So there are so many variations of this. I'm just a big fan of this because it literally did change my world. I mean, I went from not being able to play stuff fluidly, and I just thought this was the coolest thing. So PIMA intro, there will be more episodes coming out on this. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This has been episode 21 of the Power to the Pinky podcast with Taylor Marbury. Catch you guys next time.